Blender takes a lot of time to get good results, so in this video, I'm going to show you 5 ways to increase your workflow. The first one is to use hotkeys. Blender has a lot of hotkeys, but these hotkeys are some that are really basic and I think that you would use all the time. The first one is G to move, S to scale, R to rotate, H to hide, Shift H to hide everything other than the selected object, Control H to hide a collection that you pick, M to move a collection, X to delete, Control scrolling through the modifier menu and stuff like that, Shift D to duplicate, Alt D to instance, and Control, for example, 5 to add a subdivision of 5 to a selected object. Period to focus on the selected element, 0 on the numpad to look through the camera's lens, Control Alt 0 to set the camera's position to how you're looking at it, Shift R to repeat an action. In edit mode, you can also use G, S, and R to rotate, scale, and move, but here's some more ones. There's E to extrude, K to open up the knife, I to inset or outset, B to bevel, M to merge vertices, F to make a new face or edge, Alt selection to select a ring of edges or faces or vertices, Control selection to select every edge or face or vertice between the selected one and the original one. And the last one, Alt B to drag a box that hides everything outside of the box so you can focus on one aspect of your model. The next way is to use add-ons. I made a video on the best free add-ons that come with Blender, but here are some more free ones that are awesome. Gscatter from Grasswall for environments, Sketchfab for models, and Polygon for materials and models. The third way is to use modifiers. Modifiers such as lattice, boolean, bevel, mirror, array, curve, displace, and subdivision are really useful when making 3D models and renders. The fourth way is to perfect your render settings. Firstly, if you're using cycles, you can change the device that it renders on from the CPU to the GPU if you have a GPU, to device and then click GPU compute. The second way in render settings is to manipulate light paths. To do this, go down from render settings and click on light paths, max bounces, and turn the total down from 12 to around 8. You can actually make this a lot lower if your scene is an open world scene where you're using your HDRI. But if your scene is an enclosed scene and you use like a window for lighting, I would suggest to change to light paths to keep the light paths at 12. The next way is to manipulate the max samples. So in cycles, the max samples starts off at 4096, being changed down to like 30 or 60. It just depends on how heavy your scene is, the lighting, all of that stuff. A way to see your render faster is to go into the resolution tab and change the percent under your resolution X and resolution Y to something a lot lower. It's originally at 100%, but you change it down to about 10% if you just want to see how your animation is going or how your scene is looking. Another way to speed up your workflow is to change the render engine. I already made a video on render engines before, so if you want, you can check that out. But basically, if you need a lot of frames really quickly, I'd suggest using Eevee, and if you want really good quality and you have a lot of time, do cycles. The last way in render settings to fix this is to actually use a decimate modifier, as what the decimate modifier does is it reduces the amount of faces that your PC has to render, which speeds up render times tremendously, especially if you have not optimized models and topology. When using the decimate modifier, you can get away with a lower amount of faces if the object is further back, but if the object is the main focus, you can't really decimate it that much. The final way to speed up your workflow in Blender is to use quick favorites. This is actually a feature that not many people use, but it's really good. All you have to do to set this up is to go to a button, such as adding a modifier, then right click on it, and add it to quick favorites. Now, to reuse that button, all you have to do is press Q and it will show up. The cool feature about this is that there is a new quick favorites menu depending on your workspace. For example, there's a quick favorites menu for materials that is different from the 3D modeling workspace. I personally use this for things like color ramps, mixed color, all that stuff, and also adding in a modifier or setting the origin to geometry, as this just makes it a lot faster. Instead of having to click 3 buttons, all I have to do is click 1. Thanks for watching this video on 5 ways to speed up your workflow. If you find this video useful, please give me a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.